You did everything right. You avoided risky investments. You ignored the hype. You parked your money somewhere safe. And every single day, it quietly got smaller. Not in a dramatic crash, not in a headline-grabbing collapse, but in a slow, invisible leak you never see on your bank statement. Because the most comfortable place for your money can also be the most expensive. Right now, trillions of dollars around the world are sitting in places people trust: savings accounts, government bonds, guaranteed funds, cash equivalents, the financial equivalent of a locked door and a security camera. And for decades, that strategy made sense. Safety meant stability. Stability meant peace of mind. But something changed, and most people didn't notice when it happened. Let's start with a simple idea. Money is not a thing. It's a claim, a promise that what you hold today can be exchanged for something real tomorrow: food, energy, time, labor, a roof over your head. When you put money in a safe place, you're not freezing it in time. You're lending that claim to someone else: a bank, a government, a financial institution. And in return, they promise to give it back later, maybe with a little extra. That little extra is called interest. But here's the uncomfortable part. There's another force working against you at the same time, a force that never sends you a statement, never asks for permission, never takes a day off. Inflation. Inflation is the quiet background noise of the economy. It's the slow rise in the cost of everything that money is supposed to buy. And when inflation runs faster than the interest you earn, your safe money is actually moving backward. Let's make it concrete. Say you put $10,000 into a savings account paying 1% a year. At the end of the year, you have $10,100. That feels like a win. But if prices rose by 4% that same year, the things that cost $10,000 now cost $10,400. So even though your balance went up, your buying power went down. You didn't lose dollars, you lost options, and that's the hidden cost. This didn't used to be so extreme. For a long time, safe money kept up with the world. In the 1980s and 90s, government bonds and savings accounts often paid interest well above inflation. You could protect your wealth and grow it, slowly, without taking much risk. Then came a series of crises. The dot-com crash. The 2008 financial meltdown. The pandemic. Global supply shocks. Massive government spending. Each time, central banks stepped in and pushed interest rates lower to keep the system from stalling. Cheap money became the emergency tool of choice, and over time, emergency settings became normal. By the 2010s, in many countries, safe investments were paying almost nothing. Some government bonds in Europe and Japan even went negative. Investors were literally paying governments to hold their money. That sounds absurd, and it kind of is. But it makes sense once you see the bigger machine. When you buy a government bond, you're not just investing, you're funding a country's budget. Roads, schools, military, social programs, debt from the past. Governments like low interest rates because it makes their borrowing cheaper. Banks like low rates because it keeps loans flowing. Markets like low rates because they push investors toward riskier assets, which drive prices up. The system runs on movement. And safe money is the fuel. So here's the irony. The safer you try to be, the more you may be subsidizing everyone else. Your savings help keep governments financed. Your low-yield bonds help keep markets liquid. Your cash help keep banks stable, but your reward for being the steady, patient part of the system is often a quiet loss of purchasing power. Now let's zoom out. Imagine millions of people doing this at the same time: retirees, families, institutions, pension funds, countries, all choosing safety, all accepting tiny returns, all slowly falling behind rising prices. This creates a strange pressure in the economy.
preserve wealth, people are pushed out of safe assets and into risky ones. Stocks, real estate, speculative investments, anything that might outrun inflation. That's how playing it safe can help inflate bubbles. When everyone is trying to escape the same slow leak, money floods into the same doors, and doors get crowded. Prices rise not because something became more productive, but because people need somewhere, anywhere, that doesn't quietly shrink their future. This is how safety becomes a driver of instability. But the story doesn't end there. There's another hidden cost, and it's not measured in money. It's measured in time. When you keep money safe, you're betting that the system will look more or less the same when you need it, that the rules won't change, that the currency will hold, that access will remain open. History is not always counter to that assumption. There are moments, wars, political shifts, banking crises, when safe money becomes temporarily unreachable. Withdrawals are limited, accounts are frozen, capital controls appear overnight. Not often, not everywhere, but enough times to remind us that safety is not just a financial concept. It's a political one. Your money security depends on institutions, laws, governments, trust. And trust, once shaken, is hard to restore. Now, to be clear, this isn't an argument against savings, or bonds, or stability. It's an argument against the illusion of set it and forget it. Because money doesn't live in a vault outside the world. It lives inside a system that changes constantly. Interest rates rise and fall. Inflation speeds up and slows down. Policies shift. Crises reshape priorities. The math underneath your safe choice is always moving, even when your balance isn't. Here's a simple way to think about it. Every year you're making a quiet decision. You're choosing between risk and erosion. Too much risk and you can lose money fast. Too much safety and you can lose it slowly. The system doesn't offer a neutral option, and that's the part most people aren't told. We like to talk about financial danger as something dramatic, a crash, a scam, a bad investment. But one of the most powerful forces in modern finance is something far less exciting: time. Time, combined with small numbers, can reshape entire futures. A difference of 2 or 3% a year doesn't feel like much, but over a decade, over a generation, it can decide who builds wealth and who just preserves less of what they had. This is why central bank announcements move markets, why inflation reports make headlines, why interest rates are debated about matters of national security, because they quietly decide the rules of the game for everyone holding money. So when someone tells their money is safe, the real question isn't where it's stored. The real question is, safe from what? From volatility? From loss? From uncertainty? Or just from noticing what's actually happening to it? Because in a world where prices move, systems evolve, and power shifts, the cost of safety isn't always a fee you pay. Sometimes it's a future you slowly give up without realizing you made the trade. And the uncomfortable thought to leave you with is this: if keeping money safe has a price, and taking risks has a price, what does it really mean to win in a system where every choice is costing you something? And which cost are you actually willing to live with?